Hey, it's Naturopathic Medicine Week, and I'm Dr. Brianna Botsford, the founder of Flow Functional Healthcare in Edmonton and a naturopathic doctor myself. This week is a time to celebrate naturopathic doctors, whole person care, and taking charge of your health from the inside out. This week, we're sitting down with our patients and colleagues who want to share their unique experience working with naturopathic doctors. Whether you're curious about natural medicine or ready to feel inspired to take action for your health, you're in the right place. So we are back for Naturopathic Medicine Week. I'm Dr. Brianna Botsford, the owner of Flow Functional Healthcare here in Edmonton. And today I am here with Casey. Casey, can you introduce yourself to us?
Yeah, I live in Edmonton and I'm a 49-year-old woman who is um, right in the thick of perimenopause, but trying to be the very best version of myself as I head into my 50th year. I I work from home all day. I manage a sales team that's very dedicated, and I'm very lucky. There are a group of winners that I get to work with every single day. We do a lot of hard things at work, and it kind of my athletic endeavors, which is weird that I'm calling myself an athlete, but I'm doing really hard things in that space too. So everything kind of bleeds into one another. And so I feel like I'm really setting myself up to be the very best version of myself for 50.
I love that so much. Like the best version of myself and going into your 50th year. And you do have some really big goals. When you think back to when you first started thinking about working with a naturopathic doctor, what initially made you consider that?
Well, it's interesting because I was thinking about this before we chatted, and I hadn't really thought of it until I actually met you at a triathlon. And
Yeah.
I was coincidentally at a crossroads with my health and kind of where I was at with it. And at the time, I was seeing a different MD than I am now. And that person wasn't very helpful or supportive. And I just felt really lost, confused, and unheard. And so I liked you after speaking to you. And then I made an appointment just hoping to try something different, not really knowing
Yeah.
what I was getting into. And then it just was, the beginning of, for me, something really beautiful. I think we've been together for, I don't know, like 8 years or something like that. It's been
Yeah.
a long time. And so it sort of kind of happened by accident. And it's probably the very best thing that I've added to my overall wellness tribe in the last 8 years for sure.
And, and was that surprising? Like when we met at a triathlon, like I also do triathlons, and that's such an important part of the community for me is like supporting endurance athletes and like making sure that you can stay active. Cause like some of these health things, they can get in the way, right? Of us continuing in our sport or continuing in our sport in a way that we want to, whether it's like doing something we've never done before or, continuing with the same distance, pace, like what have you. Like how do we stay active because we know that has such a huge influence on our health and well-being. So what surprised you about working with a naturopathic doctor?
Well, I felt really heard. And
Mm.
I was attracted to the fact that you were an Ironman. And because it's something that I was aspiring to be, like, at some point in life. And um, I just there was this encouragement and this support and this level of listening that I wasn't getting from anybody else yet at that point. And it's
Mhm.
instead of, like I've been to other practitioners where if I have an injury, they're like, okay, just stop doing everything, which I found out over the years is not the answer. And the
Mhm.
encouragement was, okay, how can we work alongside with it where you're doing something minimal, at least just
Mhm.
to continue towards your goals, even if it's walking, like the goal is to walk.
Yeah.
You were very helpful in creating other plans because knowing how that was a piece of my identity and how it was all linked to mental and
Yeah.
emotional health as well. And so,
Totally.
like, you saw the big picture because you're you and your life experience and kind of what I want to do with my, like, there's some similarities that overlap. And so I just
Yeah.
you never said, no, you can't. It was like, okay, let's figure it
Hmm.
out. And so we would, and there may have been some trial and error along the way, but we just kept at
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
that's, I think, what I loved the most. It was just never like, well, your running days are over. Like it's never going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you get that.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want to hear
Totally.
when you have big, audacious goals, right? You don't want to be told that you can't be active.
Well, and ultimately, it might not be the best thing for your health and your longevity either, right? Like when we take people out of the physical activity that they actually enjoy, like not that everybody needs to be a runner, right? Like that's not realistic or feasible, but like when we think about that, it's like I need to stay active in some way. Running, as an example, is what I really love. Triathlon is what I really want to continue doing. So, like, how do we solve these problems, these injuries? Like, what do we need to do so that I can continue with that? Because, and I think I also learned that too, like personally, but also as a clinician, where, sometimes in school we were taught, like, well, if your patient is getting injured repeatedly, like they are just going to have to stop. And it's like, I don't really know if I like A, agree with that, or B, want to accept that just from my own personal bias. Like, I'm like, is that true? And then doing so much research and like working with so many patients, I'm like, no, actually, that's not always true. Sure, there are situations and scenarios where we might have to like change, but right, most of the time we're like, okay, maybe we change for a period of time, we rehab the injury and we get you back out there in a way that feels meaningful and sustainable for you. And so you're training for an Ironman right
Yes.
now.
Yeah, I know.
So exciting. I love it. Like it takes over your whole life, but like there's also all those other foundations that it helps you, like usually when you're training, you got to like focus on your nutrition more. And then like before we hit record, we were talking a little bit about like the mindset piece with that. So if you looked at like what had changed for you since we
Mm.
started working together, like I know you said having that support and like having somebody to listen and to really feel heard in your whole experience and yes, you are an athlete as an athlete, right? Not just like, I'm a 49-year-old woman, therefore I have these symptoms. It's like, I have these symptoms, but also I need them to fit into like my life. What has changed for you since working together?
Knowledge. I know more now. I've learned a lot at Flow through through the programs that you guys put together for us. There's just this big giant awareness piece now for me. And so, when my body was changing and I didn't know it was changing and I had massive fatigue and I couldn't get up and do my workouts and I just had all these really negative feelings about myself and what's wrong with you, and none of it made sense, and
Mm.
it interrupts your training, or interrupts your whole life,
Yeah.
regardless if you're
Yeah.
training for anything or not. And so the thing that I probably learned the most is there's more to the just blood work. There's
Yeah.
symptoms matter. And I know that you
Hmm.
taught me something really important. And I say it a lot to my girlfriends when they're going through changes.
Hmm.
And you said to me years and years ago, and you said, these symptoms aren't normal, they're common. And people use the word
Yeah.
normal incorrectly. And so once I
Hmm.
heard that, I felt very validated and I was able to find, like, just really kind of dive into the wellness, like I felt like it was kind of a recovery, right? Like trying to get my world
Yeah.
back to where it was. Although it looks different, it's better, and it's probably better than it was before I hit Perry, just because of the what I know now, and how
Yeah.
to cope with it, and define things that work with me. And as soon as I registered for Ironman, you were one of the first people that I thought about. And it's like, okay, so I don't want to get sick. How do I stay healthy? I'm going to run down my
Yeah.
body. And you and I came up with a plan. We're sticking to that. And that, that I don't want to get sick and I don't want to fall off. I've got big training sessions that I need my strength for. And so we have our
Yeah.
plan, and you look after me, and it feels really good
Yeah.
knowing that
Yeah.
I've got that extra element. It feels like a little bit of like a secret sauce or a superpower that I've got. And so, yeah, because it's all about that recovery piece also, and that's what
Mhm.
you've provided for me along the way.
I love so much that you remember that phrase, like just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal, or like these symptoms are common but they're not normal, right? Like, and like thank you for repeating that, because it's so so true, it's so accurate, and, like, the fact that you're sharing that with your girlfriends, like, that makes my heart sing because, like, ultimately, that's what we're here for, is we want people to have better health, better outcomes, more longevity prevention, like and, like, health span, right? Like, we want them to live healthy throughout midlife and well beyond. We don't want them to feel like they're bogged down with all of these, like, symptoms that we're kinda like, "Oh, you're just, like, in your 40s, so it's normal," right? But it's not normal, it's common, right? And so, like, that knowledge piece and I do wanna say, you have taken every opportunity, right? Like, if we're like, "Hey, Casey, like, here's this group program where we're gonna teach about this," you're like, "Sign me up." Like, you are really, really keen to learn more about your health, and that is such a valuable trait to have because some people are just kinda like, "Okay, like, like whatever TikTok says, like I just accept or whatever, right? But it's like you're like, no, like I want to think critically about this and I want to really understand how my body works so that I can like be better, do better, achieve these goals, right? And like I think that's so incredible and really deserves to be celebrated. And I know that it's probably not something you're like, rah, rah, like look at me learning about my health. But I do think like you should get a little gold medal for that.
I
So
love
way to
medals.
go. Joel, just
Yeah,
hang
right.
another one. I'll make you one. You're just collecting them. Like we'll do the Ironman of
Right there. That's
naturopathic
great.
care or something.
Maybe I'll get on the podium for that one.
I believe in you. Like that is the thing too, is like I just like relentlessly
Thank
believe
you.
in you, right? Like and so it's like we know
Thanks.
you're going to get to that finish line in August and I'm so excited
Thanks.
for you. Is there anything you would say to somebody who's not sure about seeing a naturopathic doctor? Is there anything like you wish people understood more about naturopathic medicine?
Yeah. I and this might be not a popular opinion, but don't not go because it costs money, because it is the best investment you're
Mm,
going to make. You get time
mhm,
with somebody who is, well, in this case, I can speak to you and Lutz when she
mhm.
looked after me when you were on maternity leave,
Yeah,
but you guys
yeah.
really stay ahead of the curve. I follow you both on social media, and you're always constantly learning and collaborating with your peers, and you're presenting and you're in the community. And so that feels good as a patient. And so when
Mm,
I
mhm.
book an appointment with you, I never think about how much it costs. I just know how much I'm going to gain out of it because it's not rushed. I get your time, and you're constantly taking notes. And so we're always able to pick up where we left off right after that. And so I would
Mhm,
just encourage you, like it's the best money you're ever going to spend, ever, ever, ever. And because it's for you, it's for your health and it's
mhm,
for your longevity, and
mhm,
it's just a different quality of care. I'm
mhm.
just there's other ways. It's not always pharma, pharma, pharma. And the ways, I mean,
Yeah,
and it works in some cases great, but, nobody
yeah.
wants to be, you know, pilled to death, I guess. And so sometimes
Right.
it's just having that time with an expert who hears you, and we can just troubleshoot together and problem solve, and away we go, right? And that's what I would say to somebody. It's just don't let that think of it as an investment.
Yeah. That's so important, right? As it is an investment. Like, and I think there's two things there. Like one is the
Yeah,
supplement or the pill piece where it's like you could
right.
have a ton of drugs or pharmaceuticals. You could also have like 1,000 supplements. And like
Yep,
we're not trying to do that either. When we look at the cost of investing in naturopathic care, like, yes, what a privilege to be able to invest in your health and in that time with a professional who can give you that strategy and orient you onto like these are your low hanging fruits, these are your top 3 priorities, and like you said, like you come back next time and you pick up right where you left off, whether it's like 6 weeks or 6 months. And that's like the beauty of us having time, and the reason we have time is because we can bill for our time, right? And I don't think it's an unpopular thing to say. I think that's like very encouraging to people because there are a lot of people that would say like, "Oh, that's so expensive," because it is. But when we look at like your Visa statement for the month or whatever, and we look at like how many Amazon orders came,
yeah,
like, please don't look at mine. How much Lululemon, right? Like how much all of those things. And so then you're like, okay, well, if I'm valuing those things, could I be valuing my health also? Or like, how do I need to shift my mindset when it comes to that cost of care? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm so excited and so grateful for you doing this with me, and I'm so excited for you, for August, for Ironman, and like I said, like, I believe in you no matter what, I will be cheering you on.
No,
I won't come with you to
it's going
Ottawa,
to be a
even though,
really
like,
long
that
day. You don't
would
want
be
to.
super fun. Yeah. No, it's
It'll be
gonna
great.
be
It'll be
great,
great.
like, honestly, my first Ironman was in 2011, I was, like, in my 20s, it took me 14 and a half hours. And I remember, like, my high school interviewing me, like, I was well graduated, but they were like, "Oh, let's talk to an alumni," and they were like, "What do you have to say about Ironman?" And I was like, "It was the
Awesome.
best day of my life." Right? Like, I hadn't been married, I hadn't had a baby, I had like, there's a few other, like, milestones to come later on in my life that I might put ahead. Although still, like, I look back on past Ironmans that I've done since then, and I still think, yeah, they were really long days, but they were, like,
Yeah, it is type.
type 2 fun, right? The smiles, the high fives, the crowd, like, the encouragement, the other athletes, like, your partner will be there cheering
Yeah,
you on, right? Like,
it's gonna be pretty
yeah.
awesome. But
Yeah.
I'm excited and terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for all your
That's a great
support and your
combination.
vulnerability. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. My pleasure, my pleasure. All right, thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Casey. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thank you to our guest for sharing their story today. If this conversation sparked something in you, don't wait. We're here to help. You can schedule a complimentary 15-minute visit with one of our naturopathic doctors at Flow Functional Healthcare in Edmonton today, or give us a follow, like, or share this video to help us help more people live healthier, more energized lives.